Hello, welcome to Switched On podcast number 6. We've had a week off, and what a time to have a week off. We had the Direct, a couple big game announcements. There's so much to talk about. As usual, it's me, Mike, here with Riddle. What we've decided to do is talk about some of the news articles outside the Direct for the first portion of the video, and then we'll cut into talking about the Direct in a bit of detail, which I've done a reaction video, so check our channel to see that. But let's get started. So we'll talk about the Mario Odyssey file size to begin with. You've just been updated on this because you've been away on holiday.
Yeah.
So
great tan. I still look white. Paste
yes. Yeah. It's the British holiday skin tone, right?
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Mario Odyssey file size. What do you think?
I was quite surprised on the actual size of it. The whopping 5.7 gig. Bearing in mind those carts hold 32 gig.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I'll be honest. That's just because I've always tracked Nintendo's file sizes for their digital content, and they've always been quite small. A lot of people attribute it to because of their games didn't look as graphically stunning as certain other games, and that's true. Some of the textures that Nintendo use they don't need to be that high. They're pretty simple, plain, flat textures. I think with Mario you're going to have excellent compression, which Nintendo knows their system inside out, knows their hardware inside out, they make it. And secondly, Mario Odyssey will look good, it will look great, but there's not much to it when you think about textures. You're not having to have crazy bump mapping and high resolution detail. It's going to be flat colours, a lot of flat colours in there.
But they make them vibrant. But do you know, on the Wii, because I know the Wii size is for one of the previous Marios, I think it's Super Mario Brothers with Luigi.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 1.2 gig.
Yeah, see?
And it looked stunning.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think the bottom line is compression. A lot of developers look at when Activision make Call of Duty, and it comes out on Steam, and it's like 80 gig, and you're like, there's just no justification for that game to be that file size. It's just lazy compression. But that's the first sort of like calm bit of news out of the way. Just wanna. This is another really small tidbit, but I find it quite amusing. I've always said SNES, as you've probably noticed. I'm in love with the SNES. Nintendo, a lot of Americans believe it's SNES, and yet Nintendo of America put out a tweet, and you all know Elf on a Shelf, and had a picture of NES in front of a SNES. So I thought that was quite amusing, especially since the SNES is up and out around the corner.
Oh
so
yeah,
put that to bed.
SNES Mini, here we come.
Still haven't got a pre-order.
But,
launch day.
Well, they did put out another notice that they're gonna produce more and bring back the NES as well, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, the NES. You've been away that long, right?
Yeah.
So the SNES and NES are going to be stocked a little bit better than before, and I think the evidence is pointing towards the fact that the Switch production was the most important thing. It's like shut everything else down and get this out the door. And Reggie's recently been quoted as saying they went above and beyond in paraphrase in delivering that extra Switch stock. Because I was looking at the sales figures for that. The Switch has sold in 6 months in Japan half of what the Wii U did in 5 years. Okay? And half of what the PS4 has done in 4 years. That's pretty impressive. And it's still topping the sales charts.
Well, they were top for August again.
Yep. Another 40,000 units out for the week compared to the Xbox Ones. It's 50. It's crazy when you think about like the amount of zeros that are missing on that comparison. The Wii U still outselling the Xbox One in Japan. That
doesn't surprise me. They're not very keen on the Xbox One because of the button layout. But
still, you're talking about here's a console that has no future content going to be made for it, or here's a console that's still relevant, and yeah, it just doesn't sell well. But hey, they probably sell more used consoles in Japan than they do actual brand new units.
Fair enough.
But that aside, I sort of digressed a bit. Before I just share that little note there. Now, something else you missed while you was away was the ongoing discussion. Will Final Fantasy 15 come to Switch? Will it be the full version? Will it be the mobile version? Don't know if you've seen this, but the talking about trying to get the full version over.
Mm.
And
I did see that.
Not using a Luminous engine, instead using the Epic Unreal game engine.
Which, as it's an NVIDIA product, which we've had this debate before.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. I think it always comes back to my point. Any game could be on a Switch. Only a game engine is going to get in the way, and this is the biggest example of that right now. The game engine's in the way. It's not the fact that it's the game or the power to run those games, and it's just that the engine was never optimised. Switch didn't exist when they built it. They didn't have that in mind. Didn't have that power target in mind either. I think we'll swing this round full circle when we start talking about Doom and Wolfenstein, because they're built on the same game, but that's for a little bit later with those a shock casual here these in the direct. But I think the last point of discussion before we move into the direct is the flog golf. I know everybody's discussed this online, it's been discussed to death, but I just want to bring it up. I mean, I was a massive fan of Arata. I again, it's not confirmed that this is a tribute to him, but all the evidence suggests it's a little homage. I forgot the Japanese word for it, but you know, the little good luck charm to have it in the Switch and have it there. And I think that's a real nice nod and notion. It shows that Nintendo as a company is working with a bit of heart, not just a mechanism churning out. Obviously, their business, they want to make lots of money, but not just a cold, calculated corporate company. And it's a great nod. Most importantly, there's a working NES emulator on the Switch. It might just be built to run Flog or Golf, but it just goes to show you that they've all been toying with the idea from day one.
Well, I read that same article and I thought it was rather interesting that they actually put the golf game on there, because it was like, well, if a golf game's on there, why would that not be the very first game you get in your membership? Oh,
that's a good notion. That could be, yeah. Hey, we've already got it on there. It's pre-installed, but it's not a big hit, I don't think. I just don't think
it's Iwata's tribute, and why not? Give them the first game.
The first game needs to be big, man. That's just my opinion. It has to have the name Mario or Zelda in it, or Metroid.
Yeah.
But it's got to be one of those three.
Whether they give you a NES game or do they give you a SNES game first? Because we don't know. We don't know what they're going. Give
us a GameCube game. Do something crazy. Give us Metro Prime. That's never going to happen.
What about Mario Sunshine, which was an amazing game, very underrated?
Do you know why it's not going to happen? Because
Odyssey
is so much like Sunshine, man. Have you seen?
In a way, but Sunshine was a very different sort of concept.
Sunshine is Sunshine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's its own entity.
Yeah.
It
totally.
was such a... Sunshine wasn't even that easy. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's really easy. It's
not
a very...
Getting those full star count or shine counts.
Yeah, I know. Keep going through the shines. First couple, yeah, you're right. But then when you go on, you're just like, wow, this is getting harder.
Those floodless levels.
Yeah.
But that's... Okay, so I saw... we are going to get to a bit more thorough discussion about Odyssey, but I did see... I've been trying to avoid it since E3, since we played it Hyper Japan after E3.
Yeah.
Been trying to avoid it. You know, I'm going to love it, I'm going to play it, I'm going to enjoy it. But I saw a 4-minute video, man, and in those 4 minutes, I was just so excited. It's the best parts of every 3D Mario game all rolled into one. So you got the hatless levels, which are just like the floodless levels. Oh, so good. Pure platform is going to be great. I think we should quickly skim through the direct stuff that I don't think is worth a thorough conversation this week. We'll go through it in order if you want.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm up for that. I think it's... I will add this last comment about Mario. I think that game, I've stayed away from looking at anything like I did with Zelda, and when I got into Zelda, I was like, if Mario's anything like Zelda, we're in for a treat. And I mean, Jesus
just call it Mario Breath of the Wild, because it looks like they've gone with the same sort of design ethos. We won't know until it comes out, but some of the difficulty prospects in that game and the moons reminded me of Korok masks, and
exactly.
You know, they're everywhere, right? And there's tiny little things you got to do, like stack Goombas at the right height and go speak to another Goomba.
Yeah,
it's just
and there's a lot of hidden stuff, because when we played it at Hyper Japan, I found like 2 hidden items on the Egyptian sort of desert level. I I've forgotten the name of it, but I found 2 hidden secrets just by falling off the wall and going, oh, what's down here?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Oh, I feel sorry if whoever's got to write a wiki guide for that, because that's going to be a thorough write. So, we start off with skimming through the smaller stories, at least to us for this discussion this week. So they announced Pokemon to begin with. I haven't played Pokemon since Red and Blue. I'm a fan of the series, I'm a fan of the franchise, but a little bit more of the same, what we already know, just expanding on it a little bit better, much more about the new Pokemon, the legendaries that are coming in, the stuff that talks to those that want to see and hear everything about Pokemon.
Don't you think that should have been DLC for the current owners of the games?
It almost feels like it could be, yeah. Like, do you want to just buy this content outright for 60% of what brand new one owns?
Or even like, they're like, what, 35 quid new? Say like 10, 15, which is about $15-$20, give or take.
I don't think Pokemon want to try it, are ever going to do that, and if they are, they're not going to do it for the Switch version, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. But the Switch version is probably where the DLC will come into it. Potentially,
yeah. But then I've been saying about sports games for years. When are we just going to get a DLC update for a game engine tweak from 17 to 18, right? But
yeah,
people keep buying it, right? If it's going to people are going to keep buying, you don't need to do that. But one company will concede, and the same with Pokemon. They've done the same with Xeno, although they spent a long time showing Xeno. I felt like I just played the whole introduction to the game when I showed that video. It did drag on a little bit.
I actually had the opposite thing. I thought it looked amazing, and it drew me in, and I was like, I've got to play this game.
Have you played the first Xenoblade? On Wii, not Xenoblade.
Because I played Chronicles.
Yeah.
I played Chronicles, and I thought that was brilliant.
Chronicles X on the
Wii. On the Wii U. Yeah, I played that. I got drawn into that. Got to about 22 to 25 hours, and I was like, okay.
You probably just passed the tutorial at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I knew how drawn in I was getting, but I really liked it, and it's been a long time since I sort of played those sort of style of games, and I just got drawn in, and I must admit that Xenoblade 2, the storyline is absolutely epic.
Xenoblade 1, the story in that game, and the creation of the whole world in which that game exists, the mechanics, the progression, the side quests, the story, the music especially. I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. It went south for me when 13 came out, but when Xenoblade came out, that felt like I was playing what Final Fantasy should have been like at the time.
Definitely.
So good. The music is epic, and the sequel, I mean, it's gone from a bit more of an anime style than the first game, but I did feel like I was playing an interactive anime in the first one. So I want to play it. I think having it portable will mean I can definitely dedicate the time, but it is a massive time sink.
Does mean when you're sharing a TV, you can sit back and just sit there. It is a time sink.
Yeah.
The question is we're getting to the point with games, it's like you have to be very, very specific on what game you play, because a lot of them are a lot of time sinks, which I don't mind.
I don't mind as long as the story's going to keep me bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to do too much grinding. I know people love the grind fests in some of these RPGs, but I think there should be a balance. I mean, that leads us on to the other RPG which I'm in love with visually, and that's Octopath Traveler. I mean, it looks fantastic. What a visually stunning game.
It looks good.
It still hasn't got an official name, you know. It comes out in like so many months, and it doesn't have an official name. That's really unusual.
As I said, time sinks, what games you have to be really selective now, because imagine getting Xenoblades, getting like well into that storyline, and then wanting to play Octopath.
Well, that was the theory, wasn't it? That Xeno's going to be pushed back, because why not? Nintendo hasn't really done it yet. Push the game back for the Switch, but they didn't. They're delivering, getting the game out there, getting the content out there.
Definitely. Got a few more to talk about, haven't we?
Yeah, there was a 45 odd minute direct, and it was content after content, which was impressive. But yeah, you had Mario Superstar Saga, Kirby, Yokai Watch 2, Metroid. You know, the 3DS stuff started to come out. You know, I'm interested in some of them, but then you're looking at time, and you're looking at the amount of time you have for games, and my 3DS just feels like it's at end of life now. Metroid's probably going to be the last game I get. It would have been nice to see Mario Party on the Switch, that will probably be purchased on the 3DS, but I think we want to get into that a little bit later because I think that's a bit more of a file conversation.
It is,
but,
definitely.
You got the Fire Emblem Warriors, the orange 2DS XL. Layton looked good to me. I'm a fan of the Layton games. Obviously, I'm a fan of the Ace Attorney series and franchise.
I've never played it, so...
Great franchise. There's a HD Trilogy on the 3DS.
Again, as you said, it's coming to the end of life. And I mean, the 3DS, for me, I took that away on my holiday and I didn't take my Switch. Besides the fact that I had to go to 2 different places, I didn't want anything too heavy and...
Switch is an expensive little baby, don't it?
Oh, yeah. I sunk a lot of money into it, so I was like, no, I'm not going to take it with me. And it was a good thing, because I got to play some of the games that I've downloaded but only got slightly into and played my 3DS. And I actually took my 3DS to the beach and played it at the beach.
That's nice. I like that.
So I wouldn't do that with my Switch, because if I get any sand in the fan, it's KO'd.
It feels more high-end tech, which means it just feels more susceptible to like something going wrong. It's weird how we correlate.
But think about it. If I'm playing it in the sun, in the heat, that will heat that thing up. It's only sucking in the same air.
Yeah. Neat. Yeah. There's that as well. Yeah. It does. It's not passive cooled, is it?
No.
So,
whereas a 3DS is, and it doesn't get that warm.
It won't do. No. Yeah, because it's not having to process anywhere unless you're playing some new Nintendo 3DS exclusive game that's pushing the
hardware to death. Yeah. But I was playing Link Between Worlds, and that is an amazing game, and I think that's gone under the radar. And I know I'm digressing slightly, but
I think you're digressing, but it all kind of swings back to the same thing. A lot of these games should and can be on the Switch. Ace Attorney might be a bit harder because it's.
Does it use both dual screens?
Yeah. I mean, there are iOS versions and there's an Android version for the first one, so there are ways around that, and you don't need. You definitely don't need a second screen. You can easily bring up another menu.
So you mean it's going to be handheld only rather than screen?
Yeah, you definitely don't need the 2 screens when it comes to this. Honestly, you don't, because the touch screen makes it easier. But you can. It was originally a Game Boy game, Game Boy Advance game.
Okay,
and that was ported to the DS.
Oh, nice.
And it was made to be a bit more intuitive. But it's about the resolution of those 2D images, those flat backgrounds. They've already been upscaled now once. S24 better screens on the 3DS, but then you'd have to upscale it again if you're not already done so into 1080p image to get the best visual immersion from it. But I think that's the only thing holding back some of these 3DS games. A lot of them looking, if they had a 1080p upscaling for the Switch, just port them over.
Fair enough. Even 720p would be fine, because they don't even have to go that high, because a lot of those 3DS games,
every 3DS game will run on that console without forgetting about the touch aspect, the actual need for the system to run it, the hardware to run what's asking of it easily in 1080p. And you could probably super sample it to get rid of a lot of jaggies. That's pretty much what Monster Hunter will be doing.
True.
Once Monster XX comes out.
It
looks like the jaggies are really low.
Another time sync game.
Really yeah, another time sync game. Another game I really enjoy as well. A great co-op game though. That's the difference.
I've never played a co-op.
It's what it's about. It's about going on a hunt with 3 of your mates and then legging it and letting them suffer and coming back saying, "What happened, guys? You let the team down. Guess it's all me."
So you don't run out of energy and cane yourself. Yeah.
I've been in situations where I've had to bottle it, and the animation's so funny when you're running away. Oh man, shame Monster Hunter Worlds isn't coming over. But Splatoon 2 update when it went on Switch, Fire Emblem Warriors, Rocket League, stuff we've sort of covered in detail before, Skyrim, Flip Wars, all the standard sort of information we just get them sort of semi-regurgitated our way.
Yeah.
Some new bits. Snipper Clips was interesting because I never really got around to playing the first one, so I could buy that again with the extra content. That's cool.
Yep.
Zelda Amiibo, we already know about that.
Yep.
FIFA, NBA, the score of that as well.
One thing about FIFA.
Yep.
Wear your demos. New medium to sell it on, and you don't put the FIFA demos out. Why?
Because EA are really lazy with the Switch. There's no excuse now.
There isn't.
We're going to get into it, but look at Bethesda.
Yep. Well, Bethesda's done some things lately that I'm like, not helpful. Like they wouldn't send the pre-copies early, and then shut up reviewers.
Yeah, but you got to appreciate that Bethesda's gone out on a limb here. They've already got a reputation for having
good games
at bug-filled, right? But epic games, large games.
Yep.
And they've provided, or they will have provided, 3 major games.
Yes, no, I think Bethesda,
one of which was
are good.
One of the Game of the Years for last year.
But EA are you are right, they're being lazy. The biggest objection I have with them not putting a demo on is because we don't get to test the engine. I'm not going to spend 55 quid on a game like that without testing it. So they give you demos on the PS4. I have demos for both FIFA and I have it for...
We have the hands-on from people.
Yep.
Right, but I agree. You want a demo. I mean, if there's demos on other systems, just stick out a demo. I again think it's laziness. They probably couldn't compress the data file, or they just can't be bothered to.
But then if you put the demo out, and then say, right, well, this is the demo. If you want it, you have to have a memory card. Cool, whatever, because we know that's one of the topics that's come up recently. But if you give us a demo, we can actually see what the new gameplay's like, because it's apparently based off 16. I really like 16. 17, it's all right.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I
want to see what the gameplay's like.
But you have the luxury of being able to download it on a PS4, and it will be that same game engine. It's a
different game engine.
Yeah, no, the engine's different, and that's why you can't have the extra legend mode or whatever it's called. But the mechanically speaking, the game plays the same as the other platforms.
But they have Ultimate Team. So Ultimate Team is a biggest seller.
That makes like $100 million a year or something ridiculous.
It makes more than the game
crazy.
does.
It's like mobile industry standards of like cash cow revenue.
Yeah. Massive amounts of it.
Yeah. Moving on, they had like the ARMS update. Kirby again. Kirby everywhere. Sonic Forces. Lost Sphere looks really pretty. Really nice.
It does. Again, a good game.
Time. But you know, the running trend here is the variety of content. It's, you want to play an RPG, you've got the wealth of RPGs, you want to play some sports games, here's some sports games, you want to play some action games, here's some action games. And as we'll get onto, first-person shooters, third-person shooters.
Indies.
Racing. Project... what's that? Gear.club. Coming to the Switch. That wasn't in the Direct. I don't think it was. I don't remember seeing it in the Direct.
No, I don't remember.
But that's a sim racer, which is coming to the Switch.
Nice.
You know?
I didn't see that, to be honest.
Obviously, party races in Mario Kart. 9 Parchments, which is interesting. Makers of Trine. Big fan of Trine. Tiny Metal looks pretty cool. I love his art style. And Super Meat Boy Forever, which doesn't appeal to me. I never played the first one. Part of the reason maybe why it doesn't, but it's also got that endless runner sort of vibe to it. And for the amount of platformers and indie titles out there, it actually doesn't appeal to me, probably because of that.
Temple Run on extreme jumping roids. That's what I would put Super Meat Boy as I've played the first one.
A period of time when I was addicted to Temple Run, but I look back in shame.
Oh, don't look back in anger, mate.
Yes.